Hi everyone, I'm going to talk you through the materials and the tools that I use for sculpting. It'll just be a very short video, but I just want to go through each part for you of the materials that are important to use. I have put a materials list up on the page in the free course. There's a folder for materials and tools and a PDF for you to have a look at. You don't need a lot as a sculptor. The most important thing is this and these, your hands. Your hands do the majority of the work. Thankfully, they're free. If you're lucky to still have both of them, then there you go. They're your greatest asset is your hands. So first of all, I have like hundreds of tools, but I don't use them. Like over the years, I have spent like all sorts of money kind of buying stuff, and it's a really, really basic kit that you need. So the most important tools, as I say, is you start with your hands. You build up what you're doing with your hands. You base your basic structure. You narrow it down till you get to a point where you start to use tools. You probably don't look at using any of these until you're about halfway through, if not more, through this actual sculpting process. The most important thing is you need a wheel. Apologies for this is my original wheel. I've had this for 10 years. It's old, it's got rusty because it got wet, but it could easily be sanded down. This was quite an expensive one, about £40, which is about $50. It was worth it. It weighs a ton. It's cast iron. It's got a non-slip base on it. I have several of them lying about. This was a good one, but you don't need one as expensive as this. A 12-inch cake turntable that you can get for displaying cakes on works just as well. This is a good piece of kit. As I say, it was worth the money. It's lasted a long time. With that, you then need a bat. So this is a ceramic bat. It's a clay bat. It's a ceramic bat for putting in the kiln. You can fire straight from that, or you can use a wooden bat. This is a wooden bat here, just off the side of the camera. Ceramic ones, you can just literally, when you finish, lift it up, take it to the kiln, and put it straight in. You don't want to get glaze or anything on it. That's underglaze. You would want to wash that off before you start working with the clay, because obviously you don't want underglaze to be on your ceramic plate. So I don't fire this. This is literally just a sculpting plate. You have your wheel, your turntable here, and then you sit your bat on the top. It also allows you to be able to work on different pieces as you lift them off, move them, and then start a new piece and put it back. That means you can use one turntable for many pieces. As I say, just lift the sculpture back on and work on it there. So once you built your sculpture up, and as I say, you've worked through with your hands and you've got your sculpture 3/4 of the way through, then you start to use several tools. My most favourite tool is this one. It's split bamboo. I can't for the life of me find these anywhere in the world. I have been able to find bamboo and other tools. The story behind this tool is I stole it from the art school that I was at when I did my masters. I didn't steal it intentionally. I was working on a piece at home, took it home to work on because I didn't have tools myself at the time, and was trying out different tools, and this one ended up not going back. I haven't had the heart to get in touch with the art school to tell them that I stole it and to ask where on earth they bought this from, because as I say, I can't find these anywhere in the world. So I'm actually looking at buying bamboo, splitting it and making tools and actually being able to sell them, because this is my most used tool and I can't find this anywhere ever. Nobody sells this, so obviously at some point they did, probably 15-20 years ago, but I cannot find them, and I can't actually ask the art school where they bought it from without admitting to the fact that it didn't return to them. So it's a split bamboo tool. It's used for going around the eyes and things and kind of building up, digging out. This is I don't know what they call this. This is probably a pottery knife, a wooden pottery knife. It's got a Japanese name. I can't remember what it is at the moment, or actually probably pronounce it. This is used for when you're going around the front, you're tidying up the front. It's actually used by potters for mugs and bowls when they're finished and they're turning the piece on the wheel. You tend to use it and you dig in as you're turning, and it will clear out and clean out the front of the sculpture that you're working on. It's good for digging parts out, for putting in creases and things like that as well. Fantastic little tool. So the next tool is this tool. It's a double-ended tool. It's square on one end. As you can see, it's square on one end and it is rounded on the other. I use this for hollowing out. Once the sculpture has not air dried, once it has dried to a point and we've cut it in half and we're hollowing out the inside, and this is the hollowing tool. It's quite sharp. You use it like as if you were doing a pumpkin at Halloween, and you use it for digging out the insides. I tend to use the rounded end, not the square end. That one's a bit sharper because it's not used as much. You can get a bigger tool, which I've put on the list for everyone, which has got a much bigger loop on it. Saves a lot of time when you're digging out a big sculpture. It takes a lot less time to do that. So therefore, I have put that one on the list as well. The one I have is broken, so I'm actually waiting for a new one arriving. But yep, this is your hollowing tool. It's also good for putting creases in and for cutting parts out when you're actually building up the general form as well. The elite tools, your best friends, are these ones. You have a needle point tool. This is also on the list. This is a needle point tool. It's very sharp. Be careful with it. This one's quite blunt because I use it all the time. This is for putting in detail. Obviously, it's got a very sharp point on it. This is for digging in detail and things like that. This is your texture tool. See it against the background of the video. It's like a little rake. You use this for putting the fur texture in, and it's a very useful tool as well. Can't finish off a sculpture without this one. This is an integral part of the process. Paintbrushes. You don't need to buy expensive paintbrushes for sculpting. They're getting used for clay, and the chances are, like once you're doing the final paintwork and you're glazing the eyes and things like that, you tend to actually throw these away. You can usually buy them in big packs of about 30 to 50 at a time. You can get them on Temu, eBay and places like that. I just buy the big cheap packs because they're disposable and they can get thrown away. I use them wet on the sculpture when I'm going around the eyes and smoothing out the eyeballs and things like that, and smoothing out the parts inside of the nostrils as well. They don't have to be expensive, as I say. You will probably get like a fair bit of use out of them if you look after them and you wash them every session. As I say, don't spend a lot of money on these ones. You don't need watercolour brushes. You don't need like expensive art brushes. It's just your kind of bulk buy pack. Say they're non-precious and they usually get wrecked, actually, thrown away. So don't worry about them. Cheapest chips is good for them. And this one is a very sad looking little brush. I just found him as an example of a slightly bigger version. This is a round headed brush. These ones are flat. You can see they're kind of chiselled at the end. They're thin. They're great for when you're going around the eyeball and stuff like that. This is, as I say, a bigger version of that. So anything about that size is good as well when you're just kind of doing creases and trying to tidy up bits. These brushes, again, are cheap. They're not expensive. You don't need to buy expensive materials for sculpting at all. Like I say, this is a bit of stripped bamboo. I'm going to buy bamboo and I'm going to actually make these tools and sell them for people who want them. Also because I know that if this ever goes missing, then I am at a loss, because, as I say, nearly 10 years I've had this tool. It's used like the most, really, out of all the tools I have, and I would be lost without it, so I need to replace it just in case I'm lost or I lose it or it is damaged. These are just decorating brushes. You can get them at your kind of B&Q DIY store. You usually get them in a pack with different sizes. You tend to get a thinner one, a medium sized one like this, and then you get a bigger one too. They're cheap, they're not expensive, they've got quite a bit of pushback, so they're great for sculpting. You can kind of put in the detail with these without before you do the the rake tool for the actual fine details. These are great just for when you're spraying the sculpture with water and you're kind of brushing over it to smooth it all off. What your hands can't do, this guy will do. Great brushes, as I say. You can usually get 3 of these for about £10, maybe $10, $12. They are just hog. I think this one's synthetic. You've got, like, for example, this is a hog hair brush. It's just a painter's brush, like a oil or toilet painter's brush. This one's been used well, as you can tell. It's just got some underglaze on it from underglaze in the last piece that I did. But these ones are really good. Or your painter's hog brushes. They're usually used for oil and acrylic paints. A packet of them is good as well. Not necessary if you don't need them. I would say you definitely do need one of these or something like this. They're also used for chalk paint, and they're like chalk painting brushes for people who are doing like upcycling furniture. They can sometimes be kind of listed as that. As I say, they're just decorators brushes, like just a simple pack. They're cheap, they're budget. These ones are quite good actually, they don't lose bristles. But again, don't spend a lot of money on them. You can buy very expensive brushes. For example, I've got like, this is like my working lot of brushes. Right? These are just cheap brushes, but there are very expensive brushes in here. These are for watercolours. They're squirrel. Kolinsky sables. They're very expensive. They're about £30, £40 each. Some of them are £50 each. They are made from squirrel. They are beautiful brushes, but they're for watercolours, and you wouldn't want to use them for anything for sculpting. They're too expensive and they'll get wrecked. So yeah, cheaper the better. Non-precious. You don't need to be precious about brushes. For sculpting, these guys, obviously, there's two sides of it, right? So for terms of brushes, go cheap. You don't need expensive brushes for that. Cheaper the better. Non-precious, and whatever. In terms of your tools, these guys are your best friends. Guide them, look after them, and protect them with your life. These are the most important things, really. As a sculptor, these are, I'd be lost without this one. These ones I can replace. This one I can't. So I will make these ones so that we don't ever have to worry about that. But these 5 are the most important things you've got. As I say, protect them, look after them. Don't let them get wet. Wood doesn't do well if it's sat in water. I usually once a month give them a wash. I actually just washed them now, actually, to be fair. I don't think I have actually washed these in the last 4 or 5 months. You don't need to. All you do is, when the clay dries on them, just take it to the edge of your bat. Do that. Take the clay off it. I like to sand these at the ends, probably once a year, just to put a nice point back on them. But as I say, don't leave them in water. Same with paintbrushes, don't leave them in water either, because you will just rot them and they will just fall apart. And another thing that's really important that you'll need is a wire, a pottery wire. It's essentially like a guitar string wire, like a cheese wire. Very, very important. When we come to cut the sculpture in half, before we hollow it out, this is what we use to cut through it. They're cheap, they're not expensive. I'm buying all of these items so that they will be available to order from me if people want to buy them direct from me, and they want to buy like a whole starter pack and they don't need to then like source it themselves. But as I say, this wire is important for cutting in half. Again, try not to lose that, try not to trip up on it. It can be dangerous in the studio if it falls on the floor. If you then stand on one end of it and you then trip over it, imagine it's like a garroting wire. It's very, very dangerous, so be careful with it. Don't leave it lying about, hang it up, put it away somewhere in a drawer, so that it's not a danger to you or other people. Same with the needle tool as well. Very, very dangerous. I have gone into a drawer, it's been facing me before. I've put my hand in the drawer and I have gone and put it like into my hand. So yes, as I say, just be careful of the tools you have. Treat them with respect. You look after them, they'll look after you, and they will last you a long time. So yeah, that's a kind of general idea of the basics that I've put on the list. A spray bottle this is one that I have. You can buy them. Again, I will have them as part of the pack. Just plastic spray bottle. You're better not to use the like Mr. Muscle cleaning product ones, although I have used them. As long as you give them a good clean, they'll be absolutely fine as well. But one of these is great. They can call them like hairdressers bottles, spray bottles, things like that on eBay. You can get them cheap as well, a couple of quid, or from your kind of pound or dollar store as well. That's an important thing to do as well. And bin bags, black bin bags for, as you can see here, when you cover up your sculpture to keep it wet while you're still working on it. You want to use what you call them, refuse sacks, bin liners, bin bags. We call them the bin bag here as well. So yeah, that's kind of basics for all the items that you need to sit down and sculpt. I'll put this video up with the list so that people can see the tools. As I say, I will I have ordered, and I will have these available to order from me as well if you need an entire pack to start off with. As I say, these bats are ceramic. This is a ceramic one. You can use wooden bats. This is a wooden bat. The wooden ones tend to warp if they stay wet for too long, but you will get like hundreds of work out of one of them. That's just MDF board, a plyboard. So yeah, they're thick enough to roll with them. I can't think of anything else at the minute that we need. Obviously you need a screen, a computer or laptop to be able to see your reference photo, or you can print your references off. I find them easier to work on the computer, so you can use your mouse and you can click between them all as well. So anyway, for now, that is the materials and tools video and list. Hopefully that's helpful. If you need any help, give me a shout. I'm here to help, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon.